I understand there was, I just hearsay here, I understand there was a lady associated with them that was opening up a new thing of money, the wrapper in Sam's or Walmart or something. Do you hear anything about that?
Yeah, nice video of her doing that too. The day of the robbery, like I said, they had too much money. They sent one woman out with a girlfriend of hers that went to Walmart in Richmond Heights, and we have video of her buying suitcases, which is what we found in the trunk of the cars. So yeah, we had some video. We heard about that.
We got a bill of 120.
That was a newspaper reporter's fiction, as far as what she was using. I don't really know the dollar amount, but we do know exactly what luggage she bought. We have it on video, and we also went back and got the receipts of the items that were purchased, and it matches up the ones that are found in the trunk of the car. Yes, ma'am.
Just to recap, so with that crime, what you're looking for now is money or money and people?
I'll do both. I'll do money and people.
Well, what do you think? I mean, really?
Well, the four people involved that actually did the robbery itself, but then there's always the planning beforehand and the dispersal. We were able to track the currency to a location that was then moved out on August 5th. And what I'm spending my life right now is tracking that, where that is ending up.
The missing money. The missing money?
Yes.
And so it could be a new personnel altogether in this spot. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there are a couple other people. We have many more suspects out there right now.
It's possible the money's still in that neighborhood. If they hit it somewhere.
You know something? You want to share something?
I'm just guessing they hit it somewhere. I mean,
Well, what happened was we found $600,000 in that house on Page on the app, but they had, and from that location that morning, a bunch of it went to a storage locker that we know and traced. There were two. When the police drove down the alley, they saw the black Charger. There was a tan Hyundai that pulled out at the same time. Well, they had to make a choice which one they were going to chase. They knew the Charger was involved. They thought the Charger was involved. They decided to let the tan Hyundai go. We found that later, about 3 days later, and we draw other investigations developed the fact that was used to transport $1 million. That was the only guy that had a business plan. He took that money and took it down to Texas and invested in his dope game. And that's when we arrested the guy that was coming up with the 10 tons of marijuana. So at least he had a business plan that he had put it into the dope game. And we think he's bought a strip joint. This is the Marshal Secretary of State. Not run, they told me, but see. Anything else? Well, there you have it. That's right. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Things may have changed since I was working with you, but it used to be the case that in many neighborhoods, cops would arrest a guy, felon in possession, we could take a federal and hold the person pre-trial. There's a lot of frustration at the local level when someone's arrested and they're released, within.
Judge Garvey says everyone with the guns going to end the $30,000 bond or whatever. So the city's changing their attitude a little bit about the bonding. And I know that's a fight you guys have on a daily basis down there with your money. In our system, we have historically, not necessarily as much today as we did 6 weeks ago or 3 years ago, we would file a motion for pretrial detention and had great success at pretrial detaining individuals that had a prior criminal history. Because most of these knuckleheads have had not just a criminal history, but had failure to appear at some point, some witness intimidation. And we, like the Circuit Attorney's Office, would put that on at a detention hearing to prove that they are a threat to the community, a threat to maybe witnesses, a threat to flee. And that we have a good success rate at detention on violent criminals, which is one of the better tools that we have as far as moving these things along. I have to be ready to try my case within 70 days of indictment. Now, believe me, 10 years ago, there were no continuances on cases. You were finished with a case within 3 months of the crime happening. Bradley Stephen House, because I convicted him on December 8th of a bank robbery that he committed on October 8th 1 year. And it was numbing as quickly as that went. But I mean, the benefit to that was in our system that witnesses were still fresh, witnesses were still mad, witnesses were still available. But the main difference is between the volume in my office and the volume in the Circuit Attorney's Office. They can't move those cases that quick because of the volume of defendants in custody and not on bond. The number of cases they issue as opposed to the number of cases that we issue in my office. And so we will move cases quicker. Changing a little bit now because our volume is a little bit, but that's a definite benefit that we have in our system to move quickly and move them back out of the system.
this neighborhood and other surrounding neighborhoods have taken advantage of the Project Safe Neighborhood grants.
That Carusi, he walked out on me. He called me one time and asked me to buy him cameras for the Forest Park Southeast because he wanted the cameras to videotape the other cameras that I bought a couple of months before that were getting stolen. So, yeah, and I said, Mike, run that by me again? He goes, well, you want to set him up here to point him at the camera that I want you to replace? So, yes, Project Safe Neighborhood was it's waned a little bit in its involvement and in the financing that's been presented by the government, as far as available money for overtime police, for task forces, for the police officers, and for community groups that had money. I mean, when I started out, when you were back there, I mean, there was just buckets full of money that we were giving away every year. I don't know that that exists anymore. It doesn't?
Well, you know, it started, well, Project Weed and Seed
We'd see.
sort of became Project Safe Neighborhoods, you know,
Yeah.
with the change in administration.
Same thing, just different name, everybody can throw a name.
Yeah, we worked on different projects, the same thing, but there was a ton of money. There was a ton of money via
Buckets.
Weed and Seed, and there was a ton of money when we started Project Safe Neighborhoods. And I've done some research lately on, you know, whether any of that money's still available, and it is dwindled.
And so we're buying cameras for Caruso to look at cameras that were
Yeah.
stolen from cameras. That's where that money all went. But no, that's part of it. It still exists, I think, in name, but the actual involvement, and that's when Trish and I worked together years ago in this project. We had Scott Decker, who was with the university that was involved in. And as you talked about crime, you know, are you tracking these things to say where we would send police officers? That's what the cops are doing. You know, the crime happened over here, so we look at them, review them, we send people over there. That was part of that whole process that we were involved under PSN or Project Safe Neighborhood. Okay, thanks. All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's what I told you about the secret.
So we are keeping our promise of under an hour, so thank